Hi there, welcome to Elm Colors. I'm Erica, and today I'm going to be doing a color along in the Flora coloring book using my CraZart Timeless Creations 36 pack of colored pencils. I do have a very cute page picked out. It's this bunny one right here. So let me get my colors picked out and I will be right back with you. All right, so I've got my colors picked out. We are going to work on, I think, the little fairy first. And I've got, they don't exactly have a skin color. So here's my color chart for these CraZart Timeless pencils. And this apricot and peach, those are probably the closest. Apricot, terracotta, and peach. Those are probably the closest ones I've found. So we're going to attempt to use those colors in this toasted toffee and see how that goes. She's probably going to have a really warm skin tone, but I'm gonna go with it. So we're going to start with the apricot. And thankfully she's not like a huge fairy, so you don't have to, I'm not going to have to be super detailed on her skin. I'm just going over everything with a light layer of the apricot first. And then I'm going to go in, nope, not that one. I'm going to go in with the peach color and add a little bit around where the shadow areas would be. Usually like the bottoms of the arms. And then anywhere where something overlaps, you're going to have some shadow too. Probably the bottoms of the feet. And then I'm going to go in with the terracotta. And just right at the edges of the skin, where the hair overlaps there, just put a very, very light layer of the terracotta. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in with my light color again, my apricot, and I'm going to attempt to blend that out as best I can. Thankfully, these CraZart pencils do blend pretty well. So I should be able to get a pretty good blend from that. And like I said, since she's so little, her skin doesn't need to be super detailed, but you do want to have a nice variation in your colors. You do want to have some shadows here and there. So the next thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to add in a little bit of this smoky purple, and that's going to make those shadows really super dark. So anywhere where the darkest shadows would be is where I'm going to add this color. So especially under her chin and anywhere where something overlaps her skin. There are a limited number of layers that you can do since these are such budget pencils. But you can get decent results. So now I'm going in with the peach again. This was the second color. This is the mid-tone color that I used. I do want to add a little bit of shadow in here for her nose. I'm not sure how that's going to go, because it is such a small area. So I don't think that looks terrible. Add a little bit of blush in with this pinky color. No, I don't like that pink. Let's try this pink and see if it'll actually show up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Just a little bit right on the edges of her cheeks. I'm just going to add a little bit more brown to her skin, just so the blending is nice all the way along. And again, all of these layers are super light. You can't push hard with these pencils or you will not get any kind of blending at all. I'm going to come in with a little bit of pressure where the elbows would be and the back of the knee on this one. And then a little bit back into the peach. And I'm going to blend around her face so her nose isn't as... Okay, she turned out a little orange, but that's okay because fairies aren't real. They can be any color you want. And skin always looks a little wonky until you get everything else colored. Okay, so I had planned on doing some purple tones for her wings. So I'm going to go in with a light layer of the, so I'm using, which one is this? Wild Lilac and the Smoky Purple. I'm going to do a very light layer with the Wild Lilac first. And you can see here I'm leaving an open area in the middle of the wing section. And that is to kind of create a highlight there. A lot of the times with the budget pencils, if you can use the white space of the coloring book, you can get pretty cool effects that way. And these wings are a little different than other wings I've colored. So, and sometimes you might not be able to do like a space in the center. You might have to just leave one end of it a little, like it's fading into a white maybe, because the section is not quite big enough for that open white space. So like this little section right here, you know what? I'm going to zoom you in so you can see what I'm actually talking about. Hang on just a second. Okay, I hope that works well. So basically what I was talking about earlier is like this tiny little section right here, it's really hard to get in there and leave an open white space, so you just kind of let it fade to white. And then I'm going to add in, I'm going to scoot you around, I'm going to add in a little bit of dark purple at the edges, just at the corners of things. See how I like that? I think her wings will be a mix also of some black and white on here. Definitely darker purple out from the center of the wings. For some reason, wings always tend to be darker in the centers. Okay, and I'm going to come back in again with that smoky purple and just blend those a little bit more if I can. You guys are a lot closer than you normally are, so I'm hoping that my hands aren't in the way too much for these. Okay, and then I'm going to use this white. Now this white is not going to be the best white pencil, but it will work as a kind of like a colorless blender. So you can blend those colors even more with this white. right, I like that. Let's try, I think she's gonna have super dark purple at the top of her wings. So let's add that in here. Okay, and to get that a little bit darker, I am gonna add in some gray to get a little bit of a darker purple right at the where they would meet her body or disappear behind her head here. And I currently don't have my big brush, so I'm going to use just a little bit of tissue to get rid of the dust from these pencils. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of places where I'm not really pleased with how that blended, so I'm going to try to get that blended just a little bit more. Where's my smoky purple? That's the thing you have to remember with these budget pencils is you're going to have to work at it. It's going to take longer than it would with a Prismacolor or a Polychromos because they are so much more inexpensive than those other pencils. I think that looks really pretty. What I might do actually is add a little bit of pink in the center. I think that'll just make it pop. So this is very light pressure right over where that white area is, and I think that'll just make it pretty. Just add a little bit of something extra to that, to those wings. Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay, I am going to go in with the black. I think I'm going to do the black spots on here. So luckily this black is pretty opaque, so I can get a nice dark coverage. When I got these pencils, I was so surprised. And I did a comparison between them and the Polychromos pencils, and it was just amazing how well they worked. And you weren't, at the end result, you couldn't tell the difference between the Polychromos and these CraZart pencils. So I really thought that was crazy. I will probably go in here later on and add some white lines to the center of the wings, and probably maybe little white dots in the center of these black spots on her wings. Okay, let me color her little flower in her hair really quick. I think I want to do the center of that yellow. Here's the yellow. Nice bright yellow. And then I'm going to color the flower just with this smoky purple. Yeah, I think that looks cute. Okay, let's think. What color hair should she have? She's a fairy. Let's give her some pink hair. So I'm going to use, let's see, I've got my color chart here that I'm looking at. I like the berry color, the purple color, and the pink. I think we'll use those colors for her hair. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do an overall with this pink. Just a very light layer of pink everywhere. hopefully this will look okay with her more orange skin. Then I am going to go in with the purple, and I'm just going to, wherever there would be some shadows, where hairlines would overlap, from the center of her head into the center of the braid too. I'm going to add some purple in those areas. I'm not pushing overly hard, but I am giving a little more pressure than the first layer. Okay, and then I'm gonna add over top of all that this berry, and this is a lighter layer as well. I wish her bangs were just a little bit longer. That's okay, she'll have micro bangs. Yeah, I think that looks cute. I'll go over it with this pink again just to blend it back in there together. Okay, yeah, I like that. That looks cute. And her little dress, I kind of wanted that to be, let's think. She's pink and purple everywhere already. So we could do, yeah, let's just do a really light pink. I think that's what I'll do. Some light pink and berry. Just those two. And a little bit of the white from the paper. I'm not the best at, excuse me, at coloring fabric. It's one of the things that usually gives me a little bit of trouble. But I try to just kind of follow any lines that have been put in by the artist and make sure to leave areas for white spaces, because that kind of looks like there's another, that it like splits open and there's another layer underneath. I think that's what it looks like to me anyway. So I think I'm just gonna, it's all gonna be one color, but I will make sure to give it a little bit of dimension there. Yeah. So yeah, so I just try to follow the lines as best I can, kind of estimate where I think like folds would be, and go from there. I'm not always the greatest at it, but I try. So yeah, and I've left quite a bit of open space on this side. So I'm going to come back in very lightly with this pink, super, super light, barely touching the paper, just to spread that color out just a little bit more, especially in this area right here. I think that looks cute. Let me go over with the white here. See if that helps blend anything out. Helps a little bit. Need to add a little bit more pink down here, I think. Just a touch. Okay, and then I do want to give her a little bit of shadow under her arm, so I'm going to go with the dark pink here. And then I am going to come in with a little bit of that purple again. And just where the overlap of the braid is and where the overlap of her arm is, I'm going to add a little bit of shadow right in there. I could also come in with that gray as well Let's see if that'll help. Give it a little bit more dimension. Yeah, I think that looks okay. I'm going to follow the top of our line very lightly with this dark pink. I don't want to make it super dark. Sorry, I saw one more spot. I want to add a little bit more. So I'm pushing a little harder with this pink now so that I can get some nice vibrant color out of it. There we go. Yep, I think that works. All right, so there's our little fairy. Let me give her some even more pink cheeks. And I will also, I'm just adding a little bit of darkness to her eyes here. And a little, oh no, I just messed up her eyebrows. Oh boy. All right, let me try to erase that and start again. It's always okay to erase when you've made a mistake. And it's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. So I'm gonna try again to go back in. Oh, where are my colors? I'm gonna go back in with the peach and add that color back in above her. That was so funny. A little bit of this, what color is this? This toasted coffee right along the edges, and a little bit of the smoky purple right underneath her bangs. Yeah, and I'm going to leave the eyebrows alone this time. I wanted them to just be a little bit darker, but yeah, that was not the look I was going for. I'm going to give her a little bit more red cheeks. I like a lot of pink in the cheeks. And I usually like it on the elbows too, but you can't really see her elbows because they're on the bottom. And she's so tiny, she doesn't need a lot. Okay, so there's our cute little fairy. I was thinking that I would show you guys how I was going to do the leaves, and then I'll do the rest of those off camera, and then maybe we'll do some, like a row of flowers. So for, oh, I need to get you back into this frame. Here we go. So for these leaves, these stripy leaves, I'm going to use these three colors. I'm going to use the yellow, the light green, and the dark green. So I'm going to go first with my yellow because I know that I want some yellow where things would be highlighted. So if you can see here, there's like a bump in the leaf. So I'm going to put a little bit of yellow very, very lightly right where that kind of bumps out. And again, here's another part where it bumps just a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit there. And then on this side, I'm just going to do it on the outer edge here and a little bit right there. And that'll be similarly what I do. If there's not a distinct bump, like this one is very straight curve almost all the way down. So I would probably put it at the tip, or I might just pick a spot in the middle. It kind of is whatever feels right to you. This is a part where you would have to use your, an artist that I used to watch draw, she would say, use your art heart and decide what looks right to you. So that's kind of when I do that. Okay, so I put the yellow down to kind of reserve my highlights. And so now I'm going to come in with my green. This is the light green. And I'm not going to go over that yellow, and I'm going to color all the spaces in between with a very light layer again. With these budget pencils, it's all about the layering. Okay, And then I'm going to come in with the green, the dark green, and anywhere where there would be like a shadow, so typically at the tips and down the center of the leaf would be darker. And then I'm going to kind of shade, lighten up as I move outward from that center. I'm not going very far into that green, just enough to kind of give it some depth. Not very much at all in the center here, but then again at the top I'll fade it out into that green a little bit. Okay, let's go back with our green again. This is the regular green. I'm adding a little bit more pressure, but not a lot, and moving a little bit farther into that yellow. And again, in the center here, see how it kind of dips this way? This section would be darker, so you can push a little bit harder in that area, and then lighten up as you move into the yellow. Same over here. And again, you can push harder towards the base and lighten your pressure as you move up towards that yellow. All right, let's get this other side done. Doing the same thing here. A little bit more pressure towards the top and the center. And lightening up as I move into that light yellow color. And you can go into that yellow a little bit. Just make sure it's very light, because then it'll look like it's blending together there. Okay, I'm going to go in with my dark green again, and I'm going to add a little bit where that dips down, right there. And again, right in here. And come out from the bottom a little bit. Still using fairly light pressure. Moving out into that green. Okay, back to my original green. A little bit on this side over here. And then down through the center, I'm going to push pretty heavily with my original green, with my just plain green, to try to get it so it's not so dark and it's more green. All right, I think I look like that. I'm going to brush away a little bit of the dust that I'm seeing. Add a little bit more green in this area here. Okay, and now I'm going to come in with my yellow and add a little bit more pressure and kind of move into my green now. You can kind of see how that just picks up that lovely yellow color, just shines right through that green. One more time with my regular green. And tone down that yellow just a tad. With some green right over top of it. And let's see, what do I think about that? Let me see if I can blend this a little bit with my white. There is some tooth showing through the paper, or through the pencil, from the paper. So I'm coming in with my white and pushing relatively hard, not like super, super hard, but firm pressure. And you can kind of see that that just takes away all of those little tiny imperfections and blends it all out. So that is how I will do all 4 of the remaining leaves like that are in that tone. Next, I'm going to do a little bit of a bluish leaf. It's still green, but there's going to be hints of blue in it on this one. I will probably use my yellow as well. So I'm going to, in this this next leaf, which I will color this smaller one here so you guys can see that. I'm going to use, let's see, let me get these in order for you. I'm going to use yellow, green, peacock, green, and blue. So again, I think I will go through and highlight where my yellow is going to be. And I think that, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go through with the green first with a light layer. And I think also what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color over all these dots, and then I'll go back in and add in a white pen, either my Arteza gel pen or my Posca pen, and I will just add that white dot back in there. It's easier sometimes for me to not have to color around all these little dots. Now this green is a little bit, has a little bit, I don't know, it's a little scratchier than the other greens were. I'm not sure why that is, but I think it's still going to work. And you can see I'm avoiding the spine of the leaf here. Make sure you guys are in, I think you are in frame. I'm hoping that I'm not coloring off frame. So yeah, so this is not really an even layer. I'm just kind of adding a light layer of that green everywhere where I want it to be green. I'm avoiding the spine because I'm going to add in some color to that last. So right now I'm going to focus on just the leaf. I don't know what that is. Oh, that was a post-it from a while ago. How long has that been there? Okay, so now I'm using the peacock green. Oh no, I did that backwards. Well, I did a whole layer of peacock green. That looked lighter. Doesn't that look lighter? The barrels are, huh. Okay, well now I'm going in with the green and I'm coloring a little heavier at the base, and I'm going to move outward from there and lighten up my pressure. So at the center of the leaf, I mean, not the base. Coloring a little heavier at the center and then lightening up my pressure as I move outwards. Well, I guess that first color worked okay. Pay attention to your colors. All right. I like the way this one's looking so far. And sometimes with these limited sets of colors, especially sometimes in the budget pencils, you have to use a little bit of color theory. And even in like your regular sets of pencils, it's nice to do this on occasion because it adds just a little bit of something extra to your pages sometimes. And if you guys don't know what color theory is, I know that there's multiple videos for those on YouTube. I don't have one up, but I think I've seen maybe Color with Claire has one. That's really good. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the blue, and I'm just coloring right along the edges. Just adding a little bit of blue. Right along the edge. Same this way. I'm not going to go up the whole stalk on this one, just part way up. And follow that there. So now I'm going to come in with the peacock green again, and I'm pushing pretty hard, and I'm going to blend out from the blue into the green again. Okay, and once you push too hard with these pencils, sometimes it's going to be that color no matter what you do. So you have to kind of gauge where that line is of where you can no longer blend. So I'm just adding a little bit of the green over top everything again, just to kind of bring it back more towards an actual green instead of turquoise. And I think probably this close up you'll be able to really see where that blue is, but once you zoom out from it, it is not as noticeable. It just looks like the shadow of the leaf. Okay, let me add just a tiny bit of yellow at the edges. Just a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use the white to kind of blend that in. Now the center is pretty well blended because I was pushing pretty hard. So I'm going to start at the edge and move towards the center this time. Okay, and there's the base of the leaf. Now I'm going to actually start with my blue this time, and it's going to be just a very light blue at the bottom here, and then at the tip up here. And then I'm going to use my peacock green, color harder, a little firm pressure over the top of that blue, and then lighten up as I move away from it. Same on this end. I'm going to go in with my green and do the same thing, green over top of all of that. Lighter as I go towards the middle. And then I've got a little tiny bit of a highlight there, so I can come in with my yellow and just do a light layer and then blend it all together with the white. I see a couple places here that I didn't really blend it. Let me get that done really quick. Okay, so then you can kind of see how I'm going to do those leaves. I do see a lot of times I go out of lines, but I'll either just get my electric eraser in there or I will go through with a white pen later on. Let's see what else. I'm going to do a couple of these flowers so you guys can see how I was planning on doing those. So this is going to involve my white, the bubbly blue, and the blue. And I'll just do a couple of these ones over here. So I'm going to go in with my dark blue first. And those lines at the base, I'm going to color in, and then I'm going to very lightly come off of those lines. And then I'm going to use the bubbly blue and very lightly do the same thing. I'm just following those same lines that I created and adding a little bit of shadow to where the flower meets the stem. But I do want to create a little bit of white area here too. So then I'm going to come in with my white. Actually, I'm going to clean off my white pencil really quick. You can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, the tip of this. Here, let's try it there. The tip of this has some green on it. So the easiest way to clean that off is to just grab a piece of scratch paper and color on it a couple of times. And now you can see that it's good to go. So get my bladder page back in there. And I'm going to come in with my white here, and I'm going to blend this out from the blues. Okay, so on this flower here, you can kind of see where there's a harsh line. So you can go back in with your light blue again over top of your white and just blend that out just a tiny bit. Just like that. And if you want your shadow to be, your shadowed areas, I guess, to be even darker, you can come in again with this dark blue and add more color at the base. With my bubbly blue again, the lighter blue. Okay, and that's basically how I'll color those. And the edges of these will be lined with the white Arteza gel pens. And also for these stems, I'll use the same color that I did on this leaf here, which was, I want to say it's the light green, the dark green, and the yellow. So I'll use that same color for these stems. Let me color one more flower so you guys can see how I'm going to do that, and then all the rest of this will be off camera, except I will color the bunny on camera for you guys. But I think this might have to be a two-parter because my camera will only allow me to record so much before it protests and says no. So I thought this was going to be able to be a one part, but it's going to probably end up being a two-parter. Again, you start with your darker blue and then you go in with this lighter blue. This one looks like it should be turquoise, but it's really a light blue. Okay, and then I'm going in with the white now, kind of blending things out from the base there. Go back in with my light blue, try to get things to blend out very nicely. Okay, and then a little bit more dark blue again. Another good way to add shadows to blues is to add in purples. That always works nicely. Okay, so all of those blue flowers will be the same all the way around. Actually, I might do, I think you can see all of that. I might do all of these flowers and these flowers, that blue color, and then these ones I might do more reminiscent of these purples that are in her wings. And the butterfly will probably be the same as her wings, but we'll do that. We'll do that next time. I'll have, when you see me again for this kind of video, I will have done all of the leaves and these 2 rows of flowers for sure, and the stems. And then maybe next time we'll do the butterfly and this cute little bunny. He's so cute. Okay, so until next time, I thank you so much for watching me. I hope this helps in some way. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.